Grab your torches and pitchforks. Is Meta really removing the ability to sideload on the Quest? No, they are not. Let's talk about some Quest news. Over the last few days, posts have started popping up on Reddit and some other platforms showing this image right here. Developer unregistration notice alert. It's a notice saying that the developer account is going to be disabled if you do not have an application on your developer account or a role in an application in the next 30 days. It specifically says, please note that this will be the only reminder you receive in this time period, and if no action is taken, this account will become unregistered in 30 days. Now, at the surface, without any context, this does seem to indicate that if you've got a developer account, which you need for side loading with side quests and all that fun stuff, it will be removed. And that's what some people were trying to say and spread around. Well, it turns out that is not entirely accurate, and you should not listen to people on the internet just because they say something. This actually has nothing to do with Oculus and Quest and everything to do with Facebook itself. So this is actually a Facebook application notice, not for Quest. And that actually does make sense because unlike with a Quest, where developer mode is a function that a lot of people use not for developing apps, just for being able to access their device that they paid for and put stuff on it that they would like to, Facebook developer accounts are solely designed for creating applications for Facebook with no other purpose. So of course, if you've got a developer account with no applications or roles, what's the reason for them to leave that developer account open if you're not actually developing something for Facebook? So kids, today's word is misinformation, or the spread of fake news. I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but this is legitimately misinformation, and it's pretty crazy how stuff spreads like wildfire when it's not true. Now, moving on from this misinformation, let's talk about a few other pieces of Quest news. First off, there's a game called X8 that's launching in early access. It actually popped up on App Lab the other day, and I've been looking at it. It looked kind of interesting, but I didn't realize it wasn't actually launching until May 18th. This is a 5v5 multiplayer shooter. This is a hero shooter, actually, and I've been hearing stuff about this. Don't know a lot about it, but I know it's been in development. Now, originally, I believe it was going to be a paid game, but it's actually going into early access as a free-to-play game for both Steam and for App Lab on Quest, because according to the developer Third Verse, they actually want the community to help them shape the game. According to Upload VR, and a quote from the developer, they said, players can build an extensive loadout of weapons, armor, and items to equip their heroes during each round and use the funds they earn to purchase more armaments. The object is to deploy the siphon at specific sites on the map during an attack or deactivate it within 30 seconds using the diffuser during defense. The team that eliminates all the attackers or disrupts the deployment process determines the round's winner. Lasting 14 rounds, a play session draw occurs at 7-7, or the first to 8 are victorious. They're also doing an esports tournament with Virtual Athletics League that's going to offer a $10,000 prize. I don't know. Looks kind of interesting. I'm hoping it's really good. There was another hero shooter launched on the Quest, and the name escapes me right now, but I wasn't overly impressed with that game. Hopefully this one is a lot better, more fluid, and it allows you to actually reload your guns yourself. I know this is another multiplayer shooter, and that seems to be a lot of what we get on Quest, but this one at least looks unique, and like I said, it's coming out for free on May 18th, and free is always awesome. In other really exciting news, Into the Radius is actually getting a sequel. They've started development on the Into the Radius sequel, announcing that there'll be 2 more updates for the original Into the Radius, and then the second chapter will be on its way. These next couple updates are not like big updates. It's mostly technical updates and some other story-based stuff. And then the last update is going to add in PC VR mods. In the press release, they talked about starting development of Chapter 2. I loved the first Into the Radius. In fact, last year it was one of my games of the year on Quest just because of how in-depth it was and the survival aspects to it. Hopefully the second chapter will be even better. I'm very excited to check out whatever they have going on. Not sure when we're going to get to see more or what kind of timeline they have, but hopefully we'll hear more news over the next several months, and it won't be years until we hear what's going on. Zenith, the last city, is getting PvP combat, and that update is coming on May 11th. It's called the Skyward Summit update, and it's going to be bringing 1v1 fights and team duels. which is pretty great. So if you've been waiting for some PvP in an online MMO in VR, then this will scratch that itch for you. I don't know why I say that so much, scratch that itch. I seem to say it a lot. I'm not sure what the purpose of that saying is. But anyways, if you're looking for that, this will hopefully give you what you want. There we go. Let's stick with that. Plus, that update's also bringing the Cyber Ninja class and player housing, which is pretty awesome. You get your own house you can invite people over to, you get to decorate and all that stuff. Sounds pretty awesome. And Zenith is a great MMO in VR if you're looking to play something like that. A couple of videos ago, I did a video about upcoming Quest games this month, and We Are One was on that list. Well, I missed it by one day. We Are One, this time loop kind of puzzle game, is coming on June 1st, not this month. So please excuse my mistake. I missed it by one day, so it's not that bad. But We Are One is launching on June 1st. Also, Horizon Worlds is doing some testing for photo sharing, apparently. I have not tested this yet, but they released a video called Share to Instagram Stories. So apparently you're actually going to be able to share directly with the camera from inside of Horizon Worlds to Instagram and Facebook. But I mean, it does make sense considering the fact that Meta does own all these platforms. So having the ability to actually share from this, what they want to call their metaverse, to their other platforms makes sense. I probably wouldn't ever use it, but that's just me. It's cool though to be able to share directly on Instagram, and hopefully we'll get stuff like that on the Quest, inside of the Quest headset, to be able to share stuff to social platforms and even stream and all that kind of cool stuff eventually. Well, for new games, we got several new games this last week. I've kind of beat that horse to death. I've talked about pretty much everything that came out, from Propagation Paradise Hotel to the other games that actually released, which escape me at the moment. But there was another game added to the coming soon section of the Quest store, Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue. Now, we don't have a specific date, just that they announced it was coming soon. I'm looking forward to this game because I think it'll be great. And I actually thought it was going to be multiplayer, the way that they presented the trailer, but it's actually not. It's a game where there are multiple playable characters and you switch between the characters, it says, to outsmart the neighbor. Each unique character has their own key items and skills. Switch between the perspectives of the rescue squad team members at will, solving puzzles and avoiding the neighbor as you attempt to reach the creepy basement. So see, I have never played, I can't say I've never. I played one version of this game, and running away from things and the tension of doing that in a flat screen had me not wanting to play it, just because I was, tense, trying not to get seen and run away. VR is going to be worse. So I'm looking forward to it because I think visually it looks really fun and the idea of it sounds really cool, and it's a really cool IP. At the same time, I'm kind of dreading playing it because even though it's not like really horror, it's still creepy as heck. And for some reason, that idea of looking over your shoulder and always having someone after you scares me. In fact, I've had nightmares about it, which sounds weird. But yeah, I guess that's the whole point. Kind of friendly looking graphics with a terrifying premise. I don't know. I'll play it, but it's supposed to be coming out sometime soon. It is only coming out to Quest 2 and Quest Pro, by the way, unfortunately. So yeah. Well, there you go. That's all I've got for you today for Quest News. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week sometime. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, and happy questing.